Roll call, please. Kelly? Here.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Mark Besser. Joe Berg. Julia Tubbs.
Here.
Here. Janelle Fulbright. Present. Tom Gardner. Hannah Glory George. Present. Nick Keener. Nick Lang.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. David Thornton. Victoria Risler. David Washington. Karen Calhoun.
Oh, honey.
John Masters.
Bill.
Yeah.
Quorum. Like approval of the January 13th meeting.
Make a motion to be approved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on down to the reports. Management Resources, Bruce Davis.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
What did Diane say? Happy Valentine's Day ahead of time for your girlfriends, boyfriends, and everybody else. So that's good. So happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Bruce.
You bet.
Appreciate that.
You have my report, and do the pictures turn out on those? Do you get those pictures? Do they come out in those reports? I was just curious.
What'd you? Can't hear you, Bruce.
Oh, the pictures on those reports, do they come out on those reports that we send in on the building projects? They do? Okay, good. If you have any questions, I'll sure try to answer them for you. If I can't, these people behind me can.
Have any questions for Bruce? Kara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Good?
Good. How is the hay program going? And
Well, as a matter of fact, we got a new policy in place as we speak.
could you forward that to all of us?
We
please?
can. Julie's got a copy of it now.
Could you forward it by email?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, how is the forestry plan? Are you just gonna revisit that?
We are. We're working on that now. And so, GV's working on a, you know, last month and the month before, when Harley was here, we talked about the gardening, the forestry, and some of those issues. So we're working on a proposal for those areas right now.
Okay, so and when you do that, who are you including, who are your, not your constituents, but your stakeholders,
Okay.
are you reaching out to community members and other stuff on that forestry plan?
What we're doing right now is basically going through natural resources and the areas that we cover in the 14 county areas. So if there's like Harley's group or anybody else from the council that wants to be involved, then we'll send out that information to those people. And then if there's someone in particular that you want us to contact, we can.
Okay, so is that something like whoever your contact person is, or are we just sending people to you? It would be
That-
better
that
if
would
we,
probably-
are you gonna have a news release asking
Now,
for
we can
public
do that.
comment?
We
That
sure
would be
can. Okay.
great.
Sure, that would be great.
And one last question is, did you determine that the BIA firefighters are under you?
I think that's in a transition right now.
Who's it going to?
I think Tamara Copeland. Tamara's here. Okay.
And I was trying to remember, is Tamara, trying to fight back coughing, so.
Okay.
She is not on the agenda. Does Tamara report to you at Management Resources?
Yes, ma'am.
Could we have her maybe come up and answer
Sure.
questions or something?
Yeah. Tamara, would you come up, please?
Good afternoon.
So, has the BIA paid up the $500,000 that they owed, I think, to us, the last estimate I had on the fire program?
We just got a authorization to obligate today. It was only for this year's funding, and it's my understanding from Pat Gwynn that it is up to date.
Okay, so
I
we're
know we've
current,
gotten like
BIA
3
doesn't-
checks in the last 45 days.
BIA doesn't know, okay. So what's the plan for housing those firefighters? Will we be staffing up? Do we know what, I know, because you're emergency management, so I know like, I can ask you those questions.
Sure.
What is your profile of what the amount of acreage we're supposed to be covering, where it's at? Do we have adequate staff and equipment, and where are they housed?
Well, bear in mind, I've only been dealing with it for about 60 days. We have one regular full-time staff member, that's David Cummingdeer. And he's a federal firefighter. He has all the credentials. So the way it works is he gets a notification of a fire, and it has to be on trust land. Like last week, we got a call from Mace County. They had a huge fire, and they wanted our guys, and they knew we were fighting fires, in Adair County. They wanted them to come up, and they couldn't because it was not on trust land. So we can only fight fires on trust land, and, of course, it's wildfire. It's not, commercial or residential. And what he does when there's fire season, real low humidity, they put him on fire watch, and then the BIA actually sends fire engines and other federal firefighters to fight with him. He has no staff. It's David's, he's funded through what's called a BIA preparedness grant. And it's very, very small, tiny, minute, and it just covers his salary and fringe costs. And then we have a tribal fire engine that is under agreement that we're waiting for the Bureau to sign. And when it is utilized by some of the other federal firefighters that are detailed to work under him, then we get $1,100 a day for that. But yeah, it's just him. There's no room for staff or anything.
So let me make sure that my mind's clear. So I'm guessing, so I'm gonna ask if this assumption's true, is that he's been put in your department because it's part of our emergency management planning, or should be. And so that means that you'll have a long-term plan that you'll present to us, and possibly for the next budget cycle, we could be looking at some changes in that department.
Well, if you would be open to us asking for money, I will not let you down.
Okay.
I will have a beautiful strategic plan.
Excellent. Well, I hope that you bring that forward. I mean, it's one thing if we just don't have money, but we know up front that we're short in certain areas, and we can possibly make agreements with other folks.
That'd be great.
I mean, but we need to know, we need a realistic assessment, I think. So, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Tamara. Councilman Garvin? Oh, we got any more questions for Bruce? Councilman Garvin?
I just want you to fill us in on Shalaka, the wind energy farm.
I want to apologize for Ginger Brown today. She's out sick, and she had that information with her. Can she email that to you? Oh, you want to talk? Okay. All right. Not Ginger Brown, but she can tell you, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, lady.
As to Shalako, there was a change in leadership since the last time we brought this forward. There's a change in leadership at P&E, which was the company we were working with. They brought back different terms to the contract. They basically changed all the financial terms. They were requiring signatures by the end of the year that weren't possible, and then the tax credits that made it beneficial ended at the end of the year. So basically, there's not been any agreement signed. And if those tax credits are extended at some point, we may be looking at it again, but at this point, we are not.
It's just off now. What about the Arkansas River project?
That would be a Ginger question, not me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Donna?
This was for GV, I believe. I just thought GV had the rules for the pay.
He does. He does.
And I was gonna ask him to go ahead and hand out his hard copies. 'cause
Okay.
Some of us like those hard copies.
GV, can you get a copy of that for us, please? Make a copy? Sure. Okay. He'll get it for you.
Okay. Now, those are the policies that we can tell our constituents.
Yes, ma'am.
This is how you
Yes.
Can go purchase the house.
And that will go through real estate services, okay?
Okay.
That will go through real estate services.
Ginger Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I think I heard it was 25 bales.
25 bills per citizen and $25 per bail.
Now, does that citizen have to have a card from the county that they are signed up and assessed as farmers or ranchers?
And what's that little card called?
Tax exempt card.
Tax exempt card and, yes, farmer's tax exempt card.
So they need their blue card and their tax exempt card.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
Is it income based?
No. Cattle based
And you have to haul it
or
yourself.
bison based.
Yeah, you have to haul it yourself, right?
Yes, you have to haul it yourself.
That's very important for you.
We will load it for you.
On a walking stick.
Okay.
Bruce,
Yes, sir.
would you or GB explain the wood cutting operation if tribal members have one, let's say they have restricted land? How do you guys, what kind of agreement do you do with tribal members? And
Since GV's over natural resource, I'm going to let him answer that for you, Joe. GV?
Thank you. Joe, since this year we've been cutting wood, we accumulated about 10 rick of wood at each place, Delonaghy and Bull Holler. And if we take wood to the elderly or handicap or people who can't cut wood for themselves, they call us, we receive their name, we look up their card number, make sure they're a valid Cherokee resident, and see if they're inability to cut wood and for them. So basically that's what we've been doing, is taking it to them that way. And then we have to cut dead wood. BIA makes us on this wood, we have to go out, we have to cut dead wood. Now if somebody wants to cut the dead wood, we have to go out with them, show them the dead tree, make sure they cut nothing but the dead tree. After they're done, then we're supposed to follow up and go out there and see if they cleaned it up, the dead tree only, not cutting no green stuff, and then get back, and then it becomes their wood.
what if it's on the tribal members' property?
Something that hadn't confronted me yet. I haven't come on to that yet, but I think it's a 50-50 deal.
No, that's our understanding. It's a 50-50 deal with the owner, but we need a policy on that. So that's what we're working on now.
Okay, so we may need
Yeah.
a policy.
Yes, sir.
But in the past, it's been 50-50.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Lay?
Thank you, sir. The limit on 25 bales, is that max or minimum?
That's the max. 25 bales per person. And if they have, if they want to buy more, there's a committee there, and they'll decide on it. And the committee will meet on it and vote on it and see what they decide.
Yes, Kara?
Thank you. Just to clarify, you are going to email those to us as well, correct?
Yeah, it should be, you should have it anytime. I already got hold of my secretary and told her to forward one to everybody on the council.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Garvin?
What kind of hay is this, Sarasa, Bermuda?
Not much the reason, most of it's Bermuda grass, native grass, some Johnson grass, but a lot of it's good Bermuda grass hay. Every field's been sprayed except for Ochaleta, and it was a farmland with wheat harvest off of it, and then the Bermuda grass really come on strong, probably 2 foot high, along with the Johnson grass. It was high as the cab of the tractor.
Second cutting or first?
It was the first cutting up there. Everything was one cutting except for 3 fields. We got a second cutting off of 3 fields.
What did you say this was?
Up at Ochaleta, up there, it's 916 bales up there. And it was a field at that time rented by the farmer, and once he harvested the wheat off of it, he turned it back. And so kept growing. It got out of control. We thought we, wouldn't make several months. We went up there right after the wheat come off of it, and it was where they cut the wheat, it was about foot high. And then it just kept growing. The mood grass really come on strong, and the field really made a lot of hay. And we made 916 bales there. And
Fertilized.
well, I'm sure it was. If it was wheat, I'm probably sure it was. That wasn't fertilized by us, no. All the other fields have been fertilized, not fertilized, but sprayed by us for weed control.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any more questions from GB? Thank you, GB. Good
Thank you.
report. Moving on down to environmental programs. Mr. Tom Elkins.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. You have our report. I'd be happy to answer any questions. One or two things I'd like to point out. On the second page on C, that we're working on that environmental festival. This is the third year that we're doing that. It's not something just with our office, it's with a lot of offices at the nation, some state offices, a few federal offices. We've had good luck with it over in the field over by the old council house. But it seems like every time we've done that, it's either been wet, raining, cold, not cold, but hot, something. So we're moving it over to the Job Corps. What works out about that, we've got an organization that we can work with to feed the folks there. They have a really nice gym. They have like a small theater type thing. So we're working it out to where we can have a lot of people presenting to different groups. We usually have a couple schools come, a couple grades from each of those schools that filter in and out with all those children. And then our employees come over there. We try to tie that in with the Arbor Day tree giveaway that Natural Resources does. And so we're working with them on getting that lined out. People like to get the bigger trees too for their own homes. So we're working to get with some of the nurseries to get some of the bigger trees and having those as door prizes. And then we just get a lot of folks there. And what we're doing, we're hoping that we bring to mind some of the environmental issues that people should be working at. Recycling, years ago when I was a kid, my parents reminded me, if you walk out of the house, out of a room, shut the light off. And that seems like something simple, but it's really difficult to just get people in that mindset. If you're not using, my dad used to say, use all that electricity you want, but don't waste any. Use all you can, all you want to do whatever you need to do. But, he was paying the electric bill, so shut it off when you were done.
Look at my office, Tom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, but that's what we're just trying to remind folks. I think my son tries to remind me of it, or catch me at it anyway, if nothing else. But we're just putting out some good information for folks, and I think people have a good time, and I know those children do. We have a lot of crafts for them. So that will be on Friday, Friday, April 11th, and I think we're going to start about 9 and end up that afternoon. So we'll certainly send that out to you all before then. But if you could put it on your calendar and make time out there, we'd sure like to have you. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Questions for Tom? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Hey, whoa, I got a question.
Hey.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Over at this little recycle building we built here a few years ago.
Well, right now, what they've done, to my understanding, and Bruce is running that with a different crew, but that was bought with Department of Energy monies. So the tribe didn't have to put out any money on that. They might have had to put out a little bit for some small things inside, but all the equipment was bought. The only thing is, they gave us no money for salaries. And so they're having to pull that out of salaries of other places to help with that, their facilities folks and all. But they're already doing the cardboard and paper, and a few other things. But at some point, that was designed to take plastics when it became economically viable, and to take glass and other recyclables, and then at some point work with the outlying offices throughout the Cherokee Nation, and then maybe to the extent possible work with NSU and the city of Tahlequah here. So I guess just as that grows, that's will be what that's working towards.
But they're taking in stuff to recycle now.
Oh, they certainly are. Certainly taking in a lot more cardboard than they used to. They have a gigantic horizontal baler that is much more efficient than the other one. And that was bought with DOE funds. They bought a truck with it and a few other things to make it more efficient than what they used to be.
Okay, Tom, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good report. Moving on down to the Veterans Building, Bruce.
I want to ask David to come up and give you I hope, the final report on the Veterans Center. Okay? Okay. David?
Good afternoon. The flooring is almost complete. The medallion in the middle of the floor is installed. They just like a little bit on the edges. They're installing toilet partitions. The fire cabinets are going in. I mean, they're just the final stuff, and then we got to do the touch-up paint, and then we'll be done. Well, take that back. When the weather permits, we're going to have to get a foundation for the statue, and just small stuff after that. But it's looking really good inside. It really is. That's it. Any questions on it?
Any questions for David? Yes, Don.
I just want to compliment you on the job well done and say congratulations.
Well, it's taken too long.
Well, not necessarily.
It does, but it's taken too long. But we've done it with small tarot firms mainly, and try to work with them. So that's one part that's been good. So thank you.
David, doing a good job.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a whole lot of us working on it, so thanks everybody.
I couldn't find my brick the other day. I looked and looked, and I finally moved, and I was standing on it. Don't put a little light on it.
No, I'm not going to call it.
Curtis, that means your feet's too big.
No, but we're real proud of it, and I want to thank y'all again for putting the money across to do this, because it's something that it's a real good deal to put money in, and it's for a great purpose. It really is. I'm not a veteran, but I'm very proud of everybody that went and fought so that I didn't have to go. So, thank y'all very much.
Yes, Mr. Walkenstick.
Make an announcement too. They're still collecting regalia. Yes, veterans are people in there that put displays up there. Gino Leia is the person that is decorating the place. Yeah, get people these artifacts ready.
Thank you, David. Good report. Moving on down to announcements. Announcements. Here, yes.
Under new business, I'm gonna move the table. We don't have all of our figures together yet. Table that for another month.
I got a motion to table item number 1.
Second.
You got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That was the announcement.
Now we'll do it again in announcements. I'd like to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I got a David to adjourn and a Jack to second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We'll get back 2
All
hours.
opposed?
2 hours, going or
Where's your-
David?